Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Tanel channel. My name is Tanel, and today, as you can see, I have a ton of stuff on my desk here. So today I decided it's time to do my first PC build video on my channel here. So this is going to be the very first video of that. And I'm planning to do a lot more of these, and maybe from something a little bit more extreme and maybe a little bit more custom water cooling stuff. But today's video is gonna be a pretty basic one, I guess, but it's still gonna have some really good stuff from ASUS and from Thermaltake, NZXT, Corsair, and of course G.Skill. And I do have some Crucial SSD here. So the stuff that I'm using today, I do have a Crucial SSD 525GB MX300 M.2 drive, which should, you know, keep the build a lot cleaner, because I don't have to use SATA cables for the hard drive, so I don't so I have a lot less cables, although it's just 2 cables, but still it's gonna look a lot cleaner. And of course I'm gonna use a Core i7-7700K in this build, the Kaby Lake CPU, and of course I'm gonna need a socket 1151 motherboard, and today I chose the ASUS Strix Z270E motherboard, which is a fantastic motherboard from ASUS for the Z270 chipset. And of course I'm using a proper video card for this build. I'm gonna use the Poseidon here at the moment, the GTX 1080 Ti ASUS Poseidon, which is a hybrid video card, meaning that it also can be water cooled if you wish. But in today's video we're just gonna use the air cooling version of it. And of course I'm gonna use the best looking RGB memory ever made, which are the G.Skill Trident Z RGBs, which is just phenomenal job from G.Skill. I really love these memories, and yeah, they aren't looking maybe that special at the moment, but wait until they're turned on. Although I would say the design on the G.Skills without any RGB lighting is absolutely stunning. I really love the design job on the Trident Z's from G.Skill. And yeah, here I have the 7700K, which is not lidded yet. And I'm gonna use, I think I'm gonna use this riser cable also from Thermaltake. So because I'm using the Thermaltake View 28 RGB case, which is actually the Riing version, which comes with one Riing fan also. But this case also has the option to bring the video card vertically to the side of the case here, which has an absolutely stunning window, and it's my benchmarking PC here, which I'm gonna I'm gonna build some stuff into it now. And I can also use a 360mm radiator here for custom water cooling, and it also has a pump mount over here, which you can actually use a if you don't use a pump, you can put a 120mm fan on it or stuff like that. And yeah, I'm gonna use the Corsair 120mm RGB fans wherever I can, the HD 120s. Although I already have a Thermaltake fan here, so I might not be using these that much, but I might use one over there downstairs, or put them in front of the case. I don't have a custom water cooling block, but I am going to use the Kraken X52, which is a phenomenally good looking all-in-one water cooling, and I'm gonna take these NZXT fans off it, and I'm gonna use the Corsair HD 120s on it. I would have maybe used the Thermaltake fans, but I don't have them at the moment, so yeah, I'm gonna use these. They should look really awesome on this all-in-one water cooling solution from NZXT. And yeah, the main reason I bought this is because of the infinite RGB display here, which is just absolutely stunning. I think it's one of the better looking all-in-one water cooling solutions that you can find out there. So this is the setup that I'm gonna use today here, and yeah, I haven't done on a build video before, so sorry if it might be a little bit too boring or I do some mistakes or whatever. Forgive me about that. I'm gonna try and do my best, and when I'm gonna do more builds like these, hopefully I'll improve. So anyway, let's start building. Alright, so as you can see, I have laid out everything on my desk here, ready to go, and yeah, I've done some modifications already to the Thermaltake View 28, which is that I've removed the 3.5-inch hard drive base from the bottom portion of the case, which is doable here by simply removing 2 screws from the top part and 2 from the bottom of the case. And it's really easy, and I really like the I like the addition that I can actually remove this if I'm not gonna use any hard drives there. So there's a ton more space for the power supply cables and whatever I would want to put there. So yeah, I mean, the case surprises me more and more the more that I discover it. But anyway, the case here, the Thermaltake View 28, I'm gonna put these aside here, and yeah, let's open the window here. Let's take the case cover off, and it is a plexiglass, which is kinda sad. So it might get scratches really easily, but it is just absolutely stunning side panel. But I'm gonna put it down there. So inside of the case, I'm gonna remove the other side panel also here, so we can have a lot of room to do things. And as you can see, the CPU area where we install the coolers is pretty huge. And yeah, we do have the ring fan here also. And yeah, one thing that I've done, as you might maybe see, is that the front panel cables originally came from somewhere from here, I think. But I made them go from the other side, so they're not really gonna be visible at the front of the case, so everything here should look really nice and clean. And what I'm thinking on doing small modifications is I'm already doing it, is building a plexiglass that comes from the top portion here, has this everything covered, and also the down portion, and also this portion here. So I'm gonna paint that plexiglass black, and it should look really nice. So it's gonna just cover all the holes that I'm not using anyway, so should look pretty awesome. Anyway, for 70 freaking euros, it's a freaking amazing case, so Thermaltake, really nice job there. Anyway, let's come to the build. So today I'm using the ASUS Strix Z270E motherboard, the gaming motherboard, and it is just absolutely stunning motherboard. And yeah, the first thing that we wanna do is to install the CPU, install the memory, and if we're using any M.2 drives, install them also at the moment right here, because it's a lot easier to do it when the motherboard is in front of you and there's no case, you know, hindering your movement. And also I do have the motherboard I/O shield, so yeah, I should install it right now. So let's do that. Let's install the I/O here. All right. Sometimes I tend to forget these things. Anyway, but moving on, let's install the let's install the memories. I'm using the G.Skill Trident Z RGB memory today here, which is just absolutely stunning looking memory from G.Skill, and yeah, they're definitely the leaders in the world in terms of design. So really nice job there. Anyway, I'm gonna install 4 of these sticks right here. And moving on after this, we should install the M.2 and then the CPU. Alright, so Next thing to do is to install the M.2 drive, which I have here, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward, though you need to check your motherboard box that came with your motherboard, or vice versa. You should have these tiny screws in there if you do have a M.2 socket option. So this motherboard here, I need to install the screw in the right place. So let's see, it goes there, right? So we need to screw this in here like this. All right, and then close it off and use a screwdriver to screw the M.2 in place like that. All right, so now the memory and the M.2 SSD is installed perfectly here, and didn't take any time at all. So let's install the CPU now. Let's take the cover bracket off here and let's install the CPU. So the 7700K that I'm using from Intel, a really nice performing CPU. Although AMD has been ruining Intel's market lately, so the 7700K core per core performance is top notch still. So I really like that stuff. And AMD stuff, although it might be, you know, have a lot more cores and stuff like that, it's still in early stages, so you never know what you can uncover. Anyway, today I'm gonna use Intel in this build. So let's check if the pins are in the correct order, and let's close off the bracket here. Alright, so we should install also the cooler right now, but as I'm using a water-cooled NZXT Kraken X52, then I actually should do it a little bit later when the motherboard is installed in the chassis, because I need to set up the radiator on the side also. But anyway, let's leave it like this at the moment, and let's install the motherboard into the chassis itself. So let's put this aside here, and let's put the case like this here, and need to check if we have 9 holes. We have 9 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they are all in the right position. So we just take the motherboard and push it in place. Alright, so now that the motherboard is installed, I guess it's time to install some cables also. And what I mean at the moment is to install the front panel cables, so the on-off switch and the reset switch, and maybe some USB cables also if we wanna use the USB slots here. So let's put it on the side here. And let's look at behind the case here. As this is the Riing version of the View 28, it does have the Riing fan controller also installed here, which is a pretty nice thing here. And yeah, we can see we need some Molex power for the Riing controller here. The fan is already connected to the Riing controller here, and of course the front panel has an LED also here, so that's also now connected. So everything is good to go here, and what is left here are these cables, and of course there's the USB 2.0 cables, and there's the front panel audio, and the power switch, the reset switch, and the HDD LED and the power LED, and of course the USB 3.0 cable. So these are the cables that we can actually use. I'm not gonna use the USB cables because this is my benchmarking PC at the moment, and I want a little bit cleaner look, and if I'm not gonna use the front panel USBs anyway, it should look a little bit cleaner at the moment if I'm not gonna use this. And especially the USB 3.0, if the connector is like on the top side of the motherboard, not on the side, then it doesn't look really great on it. But anyway, I'm gonna put these USB cables and the front panel audio cable everything underneath here, so they're nicely tucked and tucked away and hidden away. And the only cable that I'm gonna use are the power switch stuff here. So let's turn the chassis around so you can actually see what I'm doing, kinda, I guess. And yeah, these are the cables here. They should now look where are the exact positions also. So I see that the power switch is on the top here, so it doesn't matter for the reset switch and the power switch which way I put these in. They work both ways, but the LEDs, the power LED and the HDD LED, you do need to check which side is the plus or the minus. It doesn't hurt if you put them in the motherboard the wrong way, it just doesn't work. So if it doesn't work, then just switch the cables around the other way, so then they will work actually. And the HDD is the bottom one here, so I'm gonna put them like this here, and I'm gonna put the power LED minus here and the plus right there. Alright, so these are connected now. Everything is pretty much connected right now. So we can actually move on to the CPU cooler, which I think I'm going to need to remove the I think I need to remove the front panel for this operation. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull off the front panel here like this. Sometimes it comes off a little bit easier, sometimes not, but you just need to use force and pull it. So the NZXT Kraken X52, which I'm using today here, which is just absolutely stunning CPU cooler. And as we can see at the moment, I'm gonna put this down here, we do have a lot of space here for some really large radiators. So it does actually have space for 360mm radiators, and there's a small compartment here which we can unscrew, and it should fit really huge and fat radiators. And on the note of that, I'm gonna actually unscrew this portion here, and I'm gonna show you how large the space is here. So I do have a EK radiator at the moment that is a pretty fat ass radiator, and you should get a pretty good idea on how huge radiators do fit in this Thermaltake View 28 case. So I'm gonna unscrew this portion here. You don't need to unscrew it if you're just using 240mm radiators, which is the Kraken X52 at the moment, but for the record here, I'm gonna do this so you can actually see how much space is there. So this is the hole for the radiators here. I don't know how well you can see this, but I'm gonna take the huge radiator in a second now, and I'm gonna show you how big the space is. Alright, so this is the radiator that I was talking about, the EK Coolstream XE360, a really good radiator, and I'm gonna open it up from the box here. Alright, so a totally brand new, brand spanking new, nice fat radiator, and I'm gonna I'm gonna compare this to this NZXT one, so you kinda get the idea how fat this beast really is. And let's see if we can actually fit this in here. And yeah, there's a ton of space, although the bottom fan wouldn't really fit there. Then you can actually fit 240mm fans on the bottom side. So two 120mm fans, that's what I meant, can be installed here with no issue. Although the top portion does have this LED stuff here going on the View 28, so we can't use that portion. So that's kinda bad. That's kinda bad. So we could actually use two fans over here, and then or one fan over here. It's yeah, it's not the perfect way to go with things, but it does have room to fit this huge radiator also in it. But yeah, a really weird decision, guys. really weird decision. Why on earth did we need a subwoofer type of stuff in front of the case here? Ugh! Why Thermaltake? The only downside of the case at the moment that I've seen. Maybe I should do a custom front panel to this case. That's a pretty interesting idea. Anyway, I'm gonna install the radiator now, and as we can see, we do have one ring fan over here pushing air out, so removing the hot air from the GPU side here and from the chipset and the CPU MOSFET heat, and pushing it all out there. So I'm gonna need to use the fans here to push air in, or pull air in. So I need to actually, what I need to do is I need to install the fans inside this part here in front of the radiator here. So yeah, I'm gonna use them behind this radiator, so you can't actually see the beautiful RGB Corsair 120mm fans, which is kind of a downside, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Anyway, it's time to install. Okay, so the radiator installed, we can actually now apply some thermal paste and attach the CPU cooler to the CPU. Now this thing does come with a pre-installed thermal paste here that I've been already using, but let's clean this off here with some rubbing alcohol or nail polisher, which works as well. And let's take this off and apply some MX4 on it. Just a small teaspoon like this, or a pea like that. It works fine. It pressurizes the right amount to each side when we apply some pressure when mounting the cooler. So you don't actually need to like smush it all around. You can actually leave it like that. There's no real difference in temperatures. But anyway, let's pull this on its side here. And there's some more stuff to do now in terms of the CPU cooler. So we do need to use this small little bracket that comes with the Kraken, which is kind of flimsy. It's from cheap plastic and it's really easy to break it. So really be careful with if you're using the same cooler. Now I need to put all these little things here on in the closest part to the middle, like this here, and then I have to just do this here. All right, everything stays like that, so I don't need to worry about anything more. And now, when we turn the chassis around, we can move on to the second portion. The second portion is with 1151 motherboards. We do get these screws here, so we need to attach these also to this bracket here. So that's what I'm gonna do now. In hindsight, I think yeah, I could have just attached these things and the back bracket and then apply the thermal paste to hook up the cooler. But anyway, we do have everything set up now beautifully, and we need to put the cooler on it. Also make sure that the NZXT logo is on the right side here, and let's just use these holes here to mount it perfectly. Now I do have really limited space. This is kind of an awkward thing here. It has so little space between the memories and the cooler itself. As you can see, it pushes the memories on its side a little bit, but not too much. But yeah, be careful when installing this cooler. So now we just use the thumb screws here and screw it in. We don't need to screw it in that much by hand, just that they are closed, and then we can use a screwdriver to mount them properly and firmly. And that is firm also. So now everything is finally set up here beautifully. It's kind of getting completed right now. So the last things that I need to do now is to hook up the fans and put in a power supply unit. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hook up the power supply unit. So let's turn it around again here so we can see the power supply area here. And I'm gonna take my old trusty Enermax Revolution 1050 watt power supply, and I'm gonna just install it like this here. So no real issues. You can fit the biggest of them all inside of this case, and just mount it, check if the holes are aligned properly here, and then just screw it in. Alright, so now that the power supply unit is firmly installed, I can actually install the cables. And let's start with the 24 pin here. And mine is a pretty short cable here. We could actually use some extenders here, and for today's build, that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so I bought these nice little white extenders for my power supply unit, and I'm gonna use these in today's build here. So yeah, I'm gonna hook them up right now. What are we missing? We're actually missing a video card. So for today's build, yeah, we can actually install the video card normally like this, but as this chassis also has a vertical mount point, that's what I'm gonna do in today's video. So I'm gonna use the Thermaltake riser cable here, and we're gonna connect it here and then screw it in here to mount the video card vertically. So let's put it in the socket here like this. Really easy stuff. Lock it in place, and then use this place here to mount the riser there. And we're gonna use 2 screws to screw them in. Alright, so next up we need to remove these brackets here and now install the video card itself. So let's line this up like this. Check out if the cable, the slot is lining up also, and then slot it in, close the hatch, and we're pretty much good to go. Let's close the video card off with a screw here. Alrighty then, and yeah, now we need to hook up the power cables for the video card, and I do have these in white also, so let's bring them in from the side here. Let's hook up one cable, let's hook up the other cable. All right, and yeah, we're starting to look pretty good, eh? Pretty darn good. All right, so let's pick up the chassis and put it on the other way. All right, and let's hook up everything else now. The power supply, the 24 pin to the extender here, PCIe connectors to the extenders here. Alright, like that. And yeah, of course this one also, the 8-pin power pin for the motherboard. Alright, and next up I do have a single fan cable for the power supply also. I've done a little bit modding here. You can't actually see it, but there is a fan header next to the power LED and power reset switches cables. And yeah, now the last thing that we need to do here is to hook up the water cooling pump and also the fans. So that's what I'm gonna do next. Alright, so the pump came with these cables, and as we can see, one is the cable for the RGB stuff and the power stuff and such like that, and the other one should be similar stuff. I don't really know which one is which here, but I do know that this USB, this mini USB, needs to hook up to a USB 2.0 port on the motherboard, and from this board we need a fan cable which should be close by, and we can actually give power to some other fans also with this, and we need some SATA power, SATA Molex power to power it on. So let's hook up these cables here and see how it goes. So we need these cables here, all from this small hole here. Might be a little bit tricky from time to time, but it's better to have small holes than big ugly holes that you can't really hide. You're gonna have a hard time you know, connecting everything, but you're not gonna do it every day, so it's all good. Let's hook it up like this. Alright, and we can actually hide the cable a little bit here and put it like here. Alright, and that should be it. We can actually even hide these cables a little bit here like that, and everything should look pretty good. And now I just need to hook these up somewhere. So I need a Molex cable. So this is a modular cable, so I've unhooked some cables, so I'm gonna bring some SATA cables here, also some SATA power cables. Alright, so I do have a SATA cable here, and I have a regular Molex cable. But first I need to hook these up in the power supply unit. Alright, and everything's good to go. So now I almost forgot, I need to hook this up to a USB 2.0 port, which I know are also down here next to the power LEDs and power switch and reset switch. I'm gonna hook it up right here next to them. And yeah, now we needed a Molex cable, right? Alright, and then we needed a SATA cable, and a SATA cable we needed for the pump, which is here. So I'm gonna use this like that, and now we need to use these for these are the Corsair 120 RGBs. So I'm gonna use this pump headers here to hook these fans up, and I'm gonna use a controller for the RGB lighting for the Corsair 120 RGBs. I'm gonna hook these up here, and I need another SATA cable here, SATA power cable, to hook this up. Alright, so everything is pretty perfect now. I have a ton of space here, so I can just actually cram everything inside of this compartment here like this. Of course, if I have a lot more time and I don't need to do a video, then I would try to find a perfect way to do this, but at the moment I'm gonna just put everything inside here. And yeah, let's try to turn it on and let's see what happens. Alright. Voila! And everything is beautifully inside, and this is how it looks, the final look here. And I mean, it looks pretty goddamn good. Anyway, let's turn it on and hope that anything won't explode. Alright, so moment of truth. Does this thing turn on? Oh, look at the RGB lighting on the ASUS Z270E. Even without anything powered on, the RGB lights still go on here. I guess you can toggle it on and off in the BIOS, but I mean, that's so stunning. Anyway, let's hit the power button. Whoa! And everything works from the first boot. That's really amazing. So that's pretty much my build here. I'm gonna do some B-roll footage stuff for you also here, so you can see some nice sexy shots also from this build. But I mean, absolutely stunning system here right now. RGB madness. And yeah, the Corsair 120 RGBs still lit up the front panel here and a little bit of the back of the radiator here also. So not the worst situation here, but yeah, still would have preferred some other way to do this. But I think this is the better way. Or I could actually put this fan on the outside of the case. That might be an option also. But anyway, I'm gonna take the side panel here also, so you could actually see how it looks closed. And you know, this does have a really huge video card in it, the Poseidon, the ASUS Poseidon, and it pretty perfectly fits here, pretty perfectly, in my opinion at least. So let's put this here. It might scratch a little bit off the side window here, but nothing major. So let's try to close this up like this, and let's use a thumb screw also to close this portion here. And voila! Looks pretty goddamn good. Oh my god. So this was my first build video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too boring or too... I hope one thing that what I really hope is that you guys could see stuff clearly, because I only have one camera at the moment and I couldn't show you any close-up shots, but I'm gonna try and find something interesting or some way to bring some close-up shots also in the future. But anyway, this is it for the build at the moment. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll be seeing you soon, guys. So if you have any questions about this build or anything at all, then leave a comment down below. But yeah, this is the RGB case here. I'm gonna turn off some lights here so you could see a little bit better maybe. And I mean, whoa, it looks so good. Oh my god, it's gonna be fun testing this out now. Anyway, ciao.